Welcome to the recap of Carmen Sandiego Season 2. 1 week after learning Shadowsand's true alignment, Carmen's mind is too distracted and fumbles on a mission in Prague, but still gets a clue of uncut Alexandrite learning while is selling the stone source for funding in Rio de Janeiro, planning to use Rio Carnival as cover. The faculty debate Shadowsand's fate as he is missing, as Lishev reports mission success in the Alexandrite mining. Meanwhile, Devenos wakes up and gives detail of Brunt and Shadowsand, while Chief has him put on permanent leave for his recklessness and is forced to go back to Interpol to work a boring desk job. Argent is partnered with Agent Zari and sent to Rio after CrimeNet deduced Carmen to be there. In Rio, Ivy and Zack get information from a dealer and come upon Lishev, who flees. A distressed Carmen is invited by her king family to dinner and they inform her of a likely wild safe house. There, Carmen finds a tunnel to the wild mining operation but is caught by Tigress, Lishev and El Topo. Shadowsand then steps out of the shadows to congratulate them. Shadowsand elaborates to the wild agents his scarcity as being on Carmen's trail while pretending to earn her trust, but he drops a code phrase which informs Carmen of his true allegiance. When Lishev states an inaccuracy, Shadowsand uses his position to detain him and takes Carmen away. Tigress informs the faculty of Shadowsand being there. Elsewhere, Carmen's crew work with Shadowsand, while Argent and Zari follow sightings of Carmen. During Rio Carnival, Carmen's team realize while will use a duck boat to covertly deliver the gems from Rio to Prague and find a stray dragon float. Intercepting on the water, Carmen and Shadowsand successfully retrieve the gemstones and disguise the float as a duck to escape. Carmen uses her charity foundation, Black Sheep, to open a community fund for the family that gave her dinner and their neighbors with the value of the gemstones. As Shadowsand ponders what to do now that he blew his cover, Carmen invites him to join her. Agent Argent and Zari find them but lose the thieves in the crowd, but an image capture of Shadowsand advertently links Carmen to Wild. As Carmen awakes in Matsumoto Nagamo, Shadowsand has once more vanished. At Matsumoto Castle, she learns Shadowsand's katana is a part of Daishu, realizing he stole the other half of the pair. Meeting with him, Shadowsand aims to return the katana, having stolen it as initiation as a thief. Carmen encounters Paper Star, who distracts her so Lady Dukosu, a veteran wild agent, can retrieve the Tanto. Carmen meets Shadowsand, learning his true name Suhara from the curator, who is his elder brother Hideo. Ivy covertly disarms the guards before Shadowsand fights, while Carmen fights Paper Star for the Tanto and entraps her. As Dukosu poisons Shadowsand, Carmen arrives and forces Dukosu to flee. They return the Daisho to Matsumoto Castle and Suhara pleads with Hideo. While he still does not forgive Suhara, he allows him to return the sword. Shadowsand then joins Carmen's crew, no longer calling Japan home. After failing to stop Wild Agent Haber from stealing smart fabric in Greece, Shadowsand deduces that Countess Cleo and Dr. Bellum are working together on a caper, likely an idea for an operative aiming to replace him as faculty. Player finds Chatter leading the team to Milan, where Wild's plan will be enacted. While accountant Cookie Booker, in a bid for Shadowsand's old seat, coordinates with Bellum and Cleo in a plan to save Wild from death. Eavesdropping, Carmen learns Haber is adding the smart fabric to supermodel attire to mind control models. After evading Acme, Carmen enlists Argent's aid in securing the gowns and fights off controlled models. Once Shadowsand swipes Haber's weaponized chapeau, he and Carmen destroy the mind control hats and stop Wild's plan. Taking Shadowsand to a clothing store, he changes his attire, and player finds a possible HQ location for the crew to have, which coincidentally happens to be the warehouse of the same brand of Carmen's hat. As Carmen's team look at a building for a possible stationary HQ, they tell Shadowsand how they all meet on the first heist, the donut shop caper. 1 year ago, Zack and Ivy were a brother-sister racing team trying to earn prize money so they could get out of Saudi. But after Zack loses against his rival racer Silver Spoon, Trey Sterling, they burst up his car in the process. The siblings had to ask gangster shark head Eddie for help, as he was the one who loaned them the money for the car. Eddie gave them a simple job, rob a donut shop which was a front for, according to Eddie, the mob. It was there they encountered Carmen, who had to keep them safe as Weil used the donut shop as a front for printing money with stolen treasury plates. Weil's plan was to print money as a way of buying prime real estate in Boston to expand their influence and enterprises. Despite Carmen's effort to keep them away, the siblings still gave her help in finding and destroying Weil's money printing, making their own tea party. Realizing they have nothing in Boston and to avoid Eddie, the siblings opt to join Carmen on her globe-trotting capers. Following the story, player relays Weil's plan to steal the world's fastest electric car in Dubai and the team sets up. While operative, the mechanic, comes from London with a plan. Steal the most advanced car in the world to make a fleet of wild super getaway cars. As Shadowsand coordinates with player, Carmen's team go to Dubai to steal the supercar to keep it away from Wild. As they infiltrate a Palm Jumeirah gala, Zack and Ivy come across Trey Sterling and his father. As the caper goes off, Zack is triggered by posters of Trey and makes a scene stealing the car which lands him and Ivy in jail. However, an impressed Sterling bails them out and offers them a job under him. While Carmen is angered that they risked the mission and calls them amateurs, the next morning, Ivy and Zack find Trey tied up realizing his girlfriend was a wild agent, the driver, and follow her across Dubai. Clashing with the mechanic and the driver in a getaway blimp, Team Carmen saved the car. Afterwards, Carmen waits for Zack and Ivy, who turn down Sterling's offer and rejoin her. As thanks, Carmen buys a warehouse to give the two routes to call home and player calls with a lead in Moscow. Carmen and Shadowsand go, while Zack and Ivy remodel their new home. In Moscow, Shadowsand and Carmen encounter Niall the Eel at the Kremlin, but he escapes. Player learns Niall stole schematics of the tripwire EMP weapon, which Dr. Bellum will likely improve upon. With Niall involved, Shadowsand deduces Bellum's lab to be in New Zealand. Player urges they have a skilled electrician on site to manage the power grid hack, suggesting Crackle despite Carmen's wish to protect Graham. Still recruiting him in Sydney for a charity opera, they fly him to Auckland. In the lab, Carmen deletes all tripwire data but runs into Niall upon exiting. As Graham starts the encore, he realizes the deception, enters Bellum's lab and finds Carmen's mid-caper. She exfiles Graham to the roof, but Bellum holds Auckland hostage for her capitulation. At the roof, Graham's subconscious while training allows him to sabotage the tripwire, which Bellum destroys activating. Carmen finally has coffee with Graham, where Wiley is unaware of his involvement. Elsewhere, Acme tracks Carmen and learns about Graham, believing him to be of use. Elsewhere in Stockholm, Ivy dresses as Carmen to play decoy with Acme agents, while Argent petitions the chief to allow her a chance to recruit Carmen, which is approved. Alone, Carmen finds and talks with Argent about stopping a major wild plan. But when Zari spots Ivy is a decoy, Argent's plan is revoked and Carmen is swarmed by Acme agents. Barely escaping, Carmen is hit by tranquilizer gas while escaping, causing her to glide crashing into a forest, and Argent is incensed by Chief's action. Meanwhile, while agents Ottoman and Moose Boy capture Ivy, thinking her as Carmen. With both the girls missing, player directs Zack to find Ivy, trusting Carmen's survival skills. As Ivy escapes Otto and Moose, she also recovers stolen gold codes to complete Carmen's original mission and reunites with Zack. Carmen reluctantly uses Argent's Acme pen. She activates it to call Chief for help, but faints from the cold before she can ask. Carmen's team admit her to the hospital for treatment, then move her to HQ while Shadowsand completes her mission as she recovers. Meanwhile, Divinos analyzes all the Carmen's past capers, realizing the only anomaly is the Isle of the Canary Islands with no data. As Carmen works to recover, she heads to Botswana, which player connects to an illegal diamond mining operation. Meanwhile, while Operative Roundabout informs Maelstrom of Shadowsand's involvement on the mission, compromising their mining operation. As Carmen's team discover the operation's extent and locate Brunt, Tigress corners Carmen until Zack and Ivy help to subdue her. Carmen calls the Chief for help, and player transmits a visual of the Chief to Shadowsand, who recognizes her. As the authorities raid the mine, they narrowly escape a trap, giving proof to Weil of Carmen's collusion with Acme. On a train to the airport, Carmen promises Chief a better outcome next time, later captured by Brunt and the cleaners. Waking up, Brunt doesn't kill her, but informs her Shadow's hand killed her father the night he found her. Carmen ventures to the now destroyed Isle of Wild to crack the main data bank. After recovering the data, Carmen learns her father was Dexter Wolf, Wild faculty and Shadowsand's predecessor as Professor of Stealth and Thievery. Confronting Shadowsand, he reveals Wolf was mostly absent as a teacher, but always delivered results. The faculty then learned of his planning to leave Wild, ordering Shadowsand to remove him. After finding Wolf's secret family life, Interpol swarmed Wolf's home that night before Shadowsand could carry out the mission, and Wolf was accidentally killed by Agent Tamara Fraser, the now chief of Acme. After burning Wolf's house, Shadowsand saved baby Carmen and her Matryoshka dolls. The faculty then voted to keep her a secret and induct Shadowsand. After player tracks the chief, Carmen leaves her a wild data drive which allows player to hack Acme. From that file, Carmen also learns her mother, Vera Cruz, faked her death and is somewhere in the world. Enraged by the hack, Chief Fraser reinstates Devinox to hunt down Carmen, which he gleefully accepts. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't subscribed till now, then go hit the subscribe button.